Hi, Marianne Croce here from Small Biz Vantage and the creator of 3 Day Weekend System. And I'm so glad to be here each and every week to be able to do business leadership in 15 minutes. I do these lives for two reasons. One of them is for you to be able to shift your perspective, the way you look at your business, and really turn that into your competitive edge. It really doesn't take massive changes to make an impact in your business, it's small shifts causing a ripple effect. The second reason is for you to take one action item away each and every week and really implement it. Action, right? Doing, that's really what makes the difference. So, question that I get asked most often is, Marianne, who do you work with? And I work with automotive shop owners, single location automotive shop owners. And in most cases, a lot of them are family owned businesses. And we know what those nuances are for family owned businesses, right? And it was funny because on a call with a client recently, what they had said to me was, and I thought this was such a good description that many of us could relate to. Said, Marianne, they said, before working with you, my business was my entire life. Now they feel like their business is part of their life. Their business isn't consuming them anymore. And that's really what I want for all of you. So this week's topic, if you find it valuable, please share it with another business owner that would find it valuable. There's a lot of good people in this industry that want to help each other. So this topic is owner stress tip. And there are a lot of stresses for owners when it comes to owning a business, an automotive repair business. And I have to tell you that I really do enjoy speaking with owners, whether I'm at an industry event and we're chatting, it could be even like a local event, like a chamber event, or working with a client. The industry has changed so much in the past few years. Everyone is saying the same types of things. It's a different world today for owners, and I couldn't agree more. Lately, many have felt these different stresses as a result of that. And what you don't want to do is end up taking that stress out on others. It could be your team, your customers, your suppliers, your vendors, and even family or friends, because it doesn't actually help you and it can even make you feel worse. So, what I want to do is I want to unpack this for you today. So, when we think about owner stress, what keeps many owners up at night are worries about their business. They have concerns about their business. And there's three of them that I want to talk about today that I hear really often in a different, way or a different form. But the first one is profitability. They want to know how they can be more profitable. How can they become more profitable? What they're thinking of is they really want to ensure that there's a really constant cash flow in their business and that they're profitable while they're managing overhead costs and all of the pressures that go along with pricing today, because your overhead costs are changing, they're increasing. So now there's pricing pressures as well. The second thing that is a concern, something that they worry about, is compliance. So they ask, am I up to date with all the requirements? Because they're trying to navigate through industry compliance requirements, safety, insurance regulations, all the licensing that they need to have, taxes, all of that. And in the end, they want to avoid any kind of penalties, fees, or even legal issues that they could incur, because that's very costly. And lastly, the third thing that they talk about is sustainability. How can I step away as I need or want to? So they're looking at planning for long-term success, and to them that means being able to take a vacation. It, and also bigger things like a succession plan, adapting to the changes in the industry, and staying current with all, the evolving training and keeping up. So for them, that's really, really important. And they think about that. It does keep them up. So many owners feel trapped by their business. When they're looking back at their original goal, many people had the goal of freedom. They thought that when they opened up a business, as long as they had grit and drive and they were willing to do hard work, they thought that, this was going to be great. I'm going to get it set up and I'm going to have some freedom. But the impact of these concerns really on their personal lives can be significant. It really can, because I've heard so many stories. One of them is stress and burnout. So that constant worry can really lead to high levels of stress and burnout, affecting mental and physical well-being. I mean, when we're stressed out, we can physically feel ill. We can mentally just have no energy when we go home. And it's like you're spent for the day. You can't even think about anything else, even though you want to be there for your family, for your loved ones. You're just totally fried. And you just don't have the mental capacity to deal with anything. The second thing is time constraints. Balancing the demands of like running your business, running your shop with a personal life can really be challenging. And it can lead to long hours at your shop, limiting the time for not only your family and friends, but hobbies that you once enjoyed. Like those get put on the back burner because you don't have time for that, and even relaxation. The third one is a financial strain. So financial pressures from that fluctuating profitability, money's coming in, money's not coming in the following month, and investment requirements, what the business requires as far as updating, tooling, equipment, all of those things. It can really spill over into personal finances. And that, people tell me, affects their savings. It'll affect their retirement planning and their overall financial stability, feeling stable, like personally. And the last one, the fourth one, is relationship strain. The time and energy devoted to the business can really strain relationships with a family and leave many owners feeling isolated because of that conflict. They can feel this huge isolation. They feel alone. So many will tell me that they are concerned about keeping up at this pace. And some have even said to me in one form or another, like, if anything happens to me, I don't know where my business would be. And I get it. I do. I understand that. So here is my suggestion on where to focus your energy and what to do first. So if you want to get out a pen and paper, if you like a smart device, that's fine to jot these things down. But I think this is really quick, and I think this will really be helpful for you, something that you can actually use for a quick win. So the tip that I want to share with you is stay focused on winning each week. No matter what's going on in your week, right? Everybody's entitled to a bad day, right? When we think of even professional, like athletes, right? Sports, when we think about that, someone can have a bad play, but they can still win the game. So the same thing we have to think about here. You can have a bad day, but it doesn't mean it has to ruin the entire week. So I want to share with you, the solution is stay focused on a winning week each week. That's what you want to do. You want to stay focused on winning each week. So I have a winning week framework, and it's 4 simple things that you can do. The first one is outcomes. That's the first one. You ask yourself, what does winning look like for that week? And I want to share some examples just to kind of, get your thoughts going. One might be revenue. You're sitting there saying, okay, this is what revenue should look like this week. That's what I want to go for. That if I could reach that revenue, that would be winning. Maybe it's efficiency. You want to increase your efficiency in the business. Maybe it's time saved. Maybe you're saying, okay, I have so much on my plate. I want to be able to take an hour or two this week off. So I want to be able to take some things off my plate. Right. So whatever it is that you choose, that becomes your outcome for the week. Just pick one thing. Don't pick five. Don't pick three. Just pick one. And then the next step two, is map out your week. So you're going to list the activities needed for that outcome. So let's just say, for example, you want to work on efficiency in your shop. And you're writing things down and you're saying, okay, what are some of these activities that'll help with efficiency? So you're thinking, okay, what are the bottlenecks? Maybe one of the things is not being able to get parts as quickly as you want to. So what activities can you do that'll help with that? Well, one of them might be you're going to reach out to a few of your vendors. You're going to have a conversation with them. So that's one of the activities that you're going to list that you're going to do. Maybe you're going to do a little bit of research on other suppliers or vendors to learn more about them. You're going to set expectations for your team. Okay. So those are just a few. If you were looking at efficiency, it's going to be customizable for each shop and what your outcomes are going to be. But that's just an example. The third step is now you're going to block out time on your calendar, because we can put all these great things down into a list, but then life happens, the busyness happens from the day to day, and we don't implement, we don't actually do it. So you're going to block out time on your calendar and you're going to say, okay, you're looking at that calendar, pick up your device, right? And block out that time, put it in and say, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to do these activities. I'm mapping out my week and here's when I'm going to do them. You're putting it on the calendar. I'm going to make these calls at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. And if you have to, close your door to do it. Close your door in your office. If you don't have a door, let your team know that you need that time. Make the space for that time and block it out. That's how you know it's going to get done. And then at the end of the week, on Friday, you're going to rate your week. What were the wins, whether they were large or small? What were they? What were the outcomes? How did it work out for you? So that's what you're going to find out. What were the wins, large or small? How did it go? What were the challenges? What came up? What made you stuck? What happened that maybe derailed you? Or maybe you lost some time with it. What were the actual challenges? And lastly, what did you learn from the week so that you could apply that to the future? You could apply that to next week. What did you learn? Now, that's a very high level way of thinking, but what did you learn from it? Just like the sports analogy again, whether a team wins or loses, they always go back and watch the replay, whether they won or they lost. They don't bury their head in the sand and say, I don't want to look at how things went. They look at the replay. That's a pro level way of thinking. So I encourage you to do this. I'm just going to repeat them quickly. So the winning week framework is, what are your outcomes for the week? You choose what winning looks like for you. Then you're going to map out your week by listing the activities needed for that outcome. Then you're going to block out time on your calendar to actually get these activities done, to do them. And then at the end of the week on Friday, you're going to rate your week. What were the wins, large or small, right? What were the challenges and what did you learn so that you can apply it in the future? What this does is it puts you in a really positive, a good frame of mind to get things done and to encourage your team. Everyone, again, can have a bad day, but don't let it go beyond that. You want to pump people up. You're the example. Business can be challenging and owners can feel isolated. But here's the thing, you really are not alone. There are many, many people in the auto industry who are ready, willing, and able to help. Reach out. don't go it alone. I know how hard it can be because this happened to Tony and I years ago when we first opened our shop. Business can seem great on the outside, but just because your business is profitable doesn't mean that it's sustainable or enjoyable, because a lot of people are profitable, but they are burning themselves out. So we were burning ourselves out years ago and we didn't see it at the time because we were in the middle of it. We just thought that's the way it was supposed to be. But that's when we finally decided that we were going to work hard. We were going to work smarter, not harder. What we were doing was working really hard, but we wanted to flip that. And by changing that and flipping that, we were really able to design a business that works for us, for our stage of business and our stage of life. And really, that's what I want for you. So, defining success. Success means different things to different owners. Success is one thing when you're starting out and another when you're 20 years in. All right. It's very, very different. So I want to just share with you a couple examples. One of them is it may be wanting to buy a home when you're starting out, or having a family, or growing your shop. Later on, it could mean change. It changes, right? It could be saving for retirement, your kids' education, or maybe even helping your community, somehow supporting your community. And eventually it becomes an exit plan, a strategy. How are you going to transition? Maybe it's giving back to the industry that's been so good to you. Or what will you do when you retire or you pivot in the industry? What is that? So don't go by what success looks like for someone else. Go by your stage of business and your stage of life. So I just want to leave you with a pro thinking tip. Don't get caught up on how others define success. Define it for yourself. And each week, allow yourself thinking time. Choose a time that works best for you. It could be the morning ride to work or home from work, or even maybe the weekends. Allow yourself time for your mind to imagine. Your creativity will flow and you'll come up with ideas for activities that will lead to your success. So that's it for this week's business leadership in 15 minutes. I'm glad you're here. Please share it with another business owner that you think would find it helpful. And here's to having an enjoyable week. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next week.